Welcome back, everyone. Let's play Terra Invicta as the Academy episode number 16. Goal is firm push, try to get to the future. We'll start off with directed space research here. I think I'm going to switch this over for diamondoids. Either that, could be supercapacitors. I'm going to take a look at the tech tree real fast. I want to move away from the social science just so I can get those for the faction projects. So let me just take a look. Well, a quick overview of the two options I consider is supercapacitors, which is going to lead... I think this is actually gating us from doing something. I forget what it was. But it leads to ultracapacitors. I thought it led to something else. It actually unlocks a fair number of faction techs as well that are pretty interesting to do. And then ultimately, I mean, we can see that you definitely need these, like phased array lasers. Oh, that takes arc lasers, which we can't do until we get supercapacitors. Yeah. Alternatively, diamondoids also unlocks a lot of endgame tech. So even Titanic spacecraft, which we have no plans of doing anytime soon, but you can see it also gets terawatt fusion reactors, stuff like that. Neutronium. Actually, we're not going to do neutronium containment, or at least I don't plan to. I don't plan to do advanced fission systems. We'll probably go down fusion. So I guess the diamondoids is less interesting overall. The only one that it unlocks for us that we probably want is the terawatt fusion reactors. But it does also unlock for us locally the adamantine armor, which is very good. Ends up being, I think, a lot of people's staple for armor. So they're both good choices here. I think supercapacitors might have more options that it unlocks for us that we might want to get. Of course, adamantine armor, but maybe our first ships won't even need armor, so let's just do this one. I'll choose supercapacitors. It's also a little bit shorter to research, so that's another thing to consider. I picked up security measures in place of the interrogation one until we unlock some of the other ones. Autonomous research groups, very good, just to give us unlocking chances for all the other stuff, and we do want that. Although I don't think we're going to have it yet. We'll probably wait for crisis diplomacy and then swap that one in. Now, this is from Quantum Batteries. We have the new battery farms available. Unfortunately, it also shares the material science thing with supercapacitors. We might even just do it. I mean, there's plenty of things to do. It'll be a high priority because we like the welfare benefit, but well, for now. And also the decrease in dioxide, or carbon dioxide, I think. Oh, what other dioxide are we talking about here? Anyway, I don't think the global situation is that bad. We're only plus 1.4. I'm not even sure why this has happened. It's like the global GDP impact is very small. Despite not having any nuclear bombs all the way until 2031. Nobody has dropped nuclear bombs, I don't believe. Except for... nobody except for the one volcano that counted as one. Okay, this is a pretty big one. We have completed civilian quantum computing. I think this is excellent. So, national investment points in economy, plus 5%. Great. Also get the increased control point management by 10. Okay, technically I'm over. I'll just put a point in influencer command for somebody to fix that, because I had prepped for this. I was at 528. I was at 528 knowing that I'd get to 538, so... And why are we so high? Because this is, if you were tracking at all, my control points higher than I've ever been. And that is because... I'll get to this in a second. Oh, not cost. I think we probably are going to go down and do the transnational coordination. This is pretty good. So if you consider the fact that I've done the management research, which gives you 5 points, and I've done that all the way from 5,000, 6,000, and 7,000, this is effectively doing that at 2,000 5 times. So it's pretty good. So we'll just pick that one up. It'll give us 25 extra control points. We don't currently actually even need them. I think it's going to be okay to just do transnational coordination. So the downside of doing this and getting our control points up way too high is that it will attract the ire of other nations, of other factions. So far we've basically narrowly avoided that. At least last time I checked, we have tolerance with 3 of the factions, the 3 I most care about, and non-aggression pacts even, with 2 of those. So we're in pretty good shape from a diplomatic standpoint, and I'm not sure how we managed to squeak this by so nicely. It's just worked out that way so far. With the initiative and the servants obviously not being on our to please list. Look at humanity first. They're sitting at almost 450 command points. Project Exodus is at 350, but they're at 125 mission control. I think the aliens are not programmed to especially attack the humans. Now, that may have been like the theory, and it's not actually true. It's almost never actually true that an AI will treat the humans the same way as they treat other AI factions. We'll see. I mean, because they are getting basically to the point where they are going to be on the crap list for the aliens. I think it is 125. Wait. It's 50. Yeah, I think it's 125 for that. So they're at the list. They're at the point. And that's if they haven't done anything to piss off the servants. That just increases the floor. I still don't understand why we're doing so poorly. I mean, in theory, maybe the servants actually hate the Project Exodus now. Maybe we're not the rival, so to speak. But anyway, the servants are doing poorly, which is great. Look at this money. I mean, the water and volatiles income, which is translating to a negative boost income and barely any positive cash flow. Versus the initiative, also bad on volatiles, still positive on boost, so at least they're not spiraling out of control. Project Exodus is positive on everything, including boost. Resistance is negative on volatiles. They haven't got down to 0 yet, but they're positive enough on boost. I think that they'll be able to handle that. It just means they won't be able to build anything new. Actually, they're pretty negative on some things. I hope that they can get that squared away. And Humanity First also very negative on several things, but they have a ton of boost, so it doesn't seem to be... I don't think it'll be immediately impactful. All I need to do is just put 1 point for anybody. I'm not her, though. It needs to be somebody else. I could put 1 command point in him, although I want to save his for espionage and investigation. I already spent some points on security for Anon because he keeps getting targeted. Yeah, you don't have anything useful that would deal with persuasion, so I was going to give you persuasion. Can we give Hong Cho maybe some command? Because he is a good command person as far as assaulting alien assets. I mean, actually, I should go to Jiaxing. He's my current assaulter, so why don't I give him command points? We're probably gonna want to level up his administration and all that too. But let me look at that off camera. I mean, just to let you know, I pretty much pushed all the cybernetic enhancements I think I need to. So we have a lot of XP just kind of gathering up. That's inefficient. You should probably have a game plan and use it ASAP. I just haven't sat down and really figured out what the game plan is for everyone. And we have enough points now that we're not over the caps. That means people targeting our points are not going to receive a bonus. So that's good enough for now. Right, I mean, I should specifically say, I don't know if I did, but yeah, we have the EU now. So all we need to do, I'm currently trying to put a lot of points into mission control to build this up individually in the different places. That won't work for Ireland, which doesn't have the space flight whatever thing. It also won't work for Benelux because they're already at 8. But yeah, so this one can probably just start working on funding as well. We don't need insane. There's a reasonable limit beyond which we don't really need the additional knowledge. Boost wise, yeah. Anyway, I think we'll just leave it here. We'll merge these pretty soon, but let's get some more mission control individually first. Alright, well, we finished nuclear fusion in space. This is pretty exciting. I don't know if we'll be getting fusion piles unlocked right away, but that's definitely something we can swap out of our fission piles. We'll get more energy for it. And then, of course, if we can get the fusion pile arrays, I mean, this is getting better and better. Okay, what's up for us next? I actually don't know. What was the tech that we finished? It was energy, so we could look at energy-related ones. Yeah, there's a lot of... we're going to get a fusion one, but I don't know which of the ones I want, so give me a second. Well, it is deuterium tritium fusion that we want, as that one gets down further into the more endgame stuff. So that is what we'll go with. Let's see. Alright, we finished security measures. By the way, we had previously finished the one that gave you the 10% boost to unlocking things, and I swapped it in for encrypted research systems so we don't get tech stolen or, more importantly, disrupted. Do not want people disrupting our research progress. Parasite resistance, 30,000. Their purpose, 20,000. Or their weakness, 20,000. It's because this one gives us an intelligent estimate about the aliens. I kind of don't prefer it. I'd rather wait more time to see what's happening over like kind of a long stretch, which leads me to think that their weakness would be the next best thing. Of course, this would be just really nice to have, but I don't know what, I'm not sure if it's the best line to pursue immediately, but in fact maybe it is. There is that whole thing where progressing the storyline, apparently I'm now led to believe that, you know, the further you are along on the plot related techs, the more hate that you can generate, or the more ahead you're considered, the same way that you're considered ahead for more control points. So that might be good for us to do. In fact, I'll select that to start. Another thing that came to my mind was maybe just putting some points into all of them, spread it around, and then finally focus on one later. Like, you know, do like 3 months of each. Anyway, this is going to take quite a long time to get done, even with our pretty high amount of tech that we have right now. Although Canada's having some issues, but I might bump this up and brings it down by 6 months, but even then it's going to take a while. Just want to make sure first and foremost that we are ahead in all of these categories. So remember, at one point it was 1, 1, 1, and 3 for these guys, and then we came down to 1, 1, 1, 2 for these guys. Now we're down to 2, 2, 2, 2, 3 for these two, and not even 3 for this third one, although maybe I will. I don't think that one's as important, although it is holding up research and for farms and stuff. So maybe I'll have a primary one and a secondary one. Hopefully that is enough to maintain my lead, which has grown substantially over Humanity First, but they're still knocking on that door and we got to be careful. Not so much on the other two; those are pretty much a lock. So anyways, just to briefly mention, Canada's had like this whole revolving door of people. The servants came in, it wasn't the servants, it was actually an alien, which revealed itself. Alpha 6, whatever, I still remember the number. I don't know where they are now, but they used their special magic to purge the first point. Then I cracked it down, and then the Humanity First came in, and I cracked that down. Initiative, I'm going to crack this one down next. So there's been like I said, a revolving door of people in control of the mass media point. I actually don't mind it. Once they're cracked down, they don't do spoils anymore, and they seem to put all their points into spaceflight, which means that they're technically... It's the same old thing, where I don't really need to push people out if they're going to do stuff which is reasonable. It just so happens initiative is not going to do things which are reasonable, so they need to... They're booted. But the next person, if they happen to do this spaceflight alone, the thing is when you're cracked down and you're doing spaceflight alone, you're going to be out very quickly. Somebody else is going to come in and purge. Canada's still a nice area for people to try to get in. So they don't just stay cracked down like you see in a lot of other places. Okay, quick discussion time. This is unlocked strategic deception, which a lot of people would say is very important to do, but I haven't been pushing the bounds of my mission control. In fact, my whole understanding of the system, I kind of hope is flawed. My understanding is that the mission control points set the floor for hatred, but then future actions, if you don't, for example, if you kill an alien, it's like 10 points, and if your hate maximum is 50, then 125 is the original, would only set the floor of hatred to 50. So I mean, technically 121 or whatever would set it to 49. That would mean that pretty much any action you do against the aliens would still create the amount of hate. And then, if they were to retaliate, they would knock your hate down only to the floor. Now, our floor is very, very low. However, according to this, somehow we're basically at 50. I'm guessing each one of these is 10. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. And this is 40 to 50. So maybe we're not... I'm not sure if this is actually 0 to 10 or 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and then this would be 50 to 60, basically 50 plus, meaning you're already screwed. Apparently not, because we've had this adjusted and it's been in the red twice and nothing has happened. No aliens have taken any kind of hostile actions against us beyond the usual foul play on the planet. So I'm pretty confused by this, which means that I'm not sure what this would be used for, but it is a nice kick in the pants, and that's why I wanted to say I want to discuss something. It is probably a kick in the pants I need to tell me, screw it, Tortuga. just go build out your mission control. I mean, we can easily get this up, our mission control available. We can get it up to probably 80, continue our very aggressive pushing for mission control. We can do it even more aggressively. Like, I mean, our military tech at the United States is growing fast enough that I could probably do something like this, like expand it even more. Pretty soon we'll have, oh, look at that. So before I even crack them down, they're doing exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. So they're putting all the points in the spaceflight program. Eventually, Canada will be a place we can do mission control. So I kind of think that, first of all, I think that this is probably a better project than even the other ones. It is a standalone thing. It is 10,000. We're nowhere near the need for this, but I mean, it's also something, there's something to be said about setting the floor even lower. So right now, if the aliens did come after some of our decoy stations or whatever, and relieved their hate upon it, it would go way below the floor. So we would expect that that would have a big impact on, I mean, this would go down to yellow or orange, or I mean, some way down on the floor, right? So, I don't know, man. It does seem helpful to get that tech, but also, again, separate from that, just Tortuga's push. In fact, I'm going to cut away, but very quickly, let's put up some new stations and just start, let's get ourselves up to like at least 60. Let's start doing a lot more stuff, especially in low Earth orbit, where we're missing a lot of potential impact upon the planet in terms of investment and all that. Let's stop and let me stop and do that. Alright, we are going whole hog here. We're already up to 58, which I can easily show you, and I'm building another platform in low Mercury orbit. That's going to be built in 30 days. I could have gone right to Tier 3, but I don't think there's any difference. I think it's 30 days for Tier 1, 60 days to do the upgrade from Tier 1 to Tier 2, or 90 days if you do it from scratch right to Tier 2. So in theory, I guess you get better benefit out of making a platform, building on it while it's being scaled up to level 2, unless it goes, I don't think it goes offline during the time it's being built. So in the meantime, I can show you that planet Earth has been pretty substantially got some different stations going on now. So yeah, we can look at this and just look at all of these guys now are building the new Tier 3s, or Tier 2s I should say, except for the last 3. 2. And then synchronous orbit, obviously we're not going to do that. We prefer it here. So I thought we'd get one over there, one over on Mercury, as a, you know, to help with solar and all that. But also do a lot of the low Earth orbit stuff, which is going to be a little bit more expensive in terms of upkeep because we aren't as efficient about power usage. But that's fine. Now if I go to Mercury and I go to the Michelangelo station, another thing I probably should do is we need to just like fill out the rest of this, right? It's just, this is horribly managed. We could do a lot better. So let me do that. Okay, well for now what I want to do is I want to put another skunk works down so we have a little bit of a bonus to our faction research. I'm going to get 4 nano factories. These are pretty nice to put in an orbit of Mercury since they require 40 power. Skunk works require 30. You get more high power demand things later, but the nano factories, I think we can upgrade these as well, and then they'll end up really needing some power. Anyway, just going to put 4 of them here. We have this skunk works down, and probably what I need, so I think, if I do the math here, this is 4 of these is 160. 2 of these is another 60. So we're at 220. And the funny thing is, this is supplying 280. So we're at 220 plus, I don't know, some very minor, so just basically some change. Plus, let's call it, well, it is 26. So 220 plus 26 means 246, which means we're still like 30 shy of getting this. Which means if I want, I mean, I'm not even including the solar collector in the calculations, because I was planning on putting another solar array here. But what I could do is just for now put a another skunk works there. Since this will be, if I did the math right, we'll have 34 power left over, not even including this solar collector. And we will probably want to upgrade these labs, so probably what I should do is this. do the upgrade to a solar array here. And then we can put a skunk works down here for now. And that's actually going to be quite a lot of maintenance. It's -7 to -12.2 a month right now, but it'll be a lot more later when all these things complete, because that is a lot of crew. And we may probably benefit from putting some farms down here, as Perun would advise wisely, I think. So, but for now, this is good. This is a good start. So when that station completes, and then when we add this tier 2 to it, we'll be at 61 out of 63. I don't want to push it any more than that because I'd like a small amount of buffer in case things go pear-shaped suddenly. So yeah, this is a good, nice expansion of our space assets, though, and it's obviously it's not done. All we've done is pay the initial mission control cost to upgrade our stations. What we'll need to do next is, after they expand, we'll actually be adding things to them and making them, you know, like valuable for whatever. In fact, probably one thing I could do even ahead of time is a lot of these stations don't have a second solar collector. I guess I'd rather wait for the tier 2 so I can get a solar collector array. So yeah, I guess I will just wait for those to finish building. And in the meantime, do we see our science tech drop? No. So it does look like while you're upgrading, it doesn't stop the existing work. And man, space science is practically, it's almost my worst asset now, my worst research category. I need to improve that. Very cool getting the fusion pile, yes, but I won't get it yet. Good old Castillo here, the colonel, says it's not about who has the biggest guns or about the most guns. It comes down to who can reload the fastest. Look, that's not always true. I think sometimes it does indeed come down to the biggest or the most amount. Often it comes down to who can reload the fastest. I don't think that's true. That's just a catchy quote. But that ain't true. Well, it just comes down to who's more accurate. How about that? Forget about reloading. Let's go with next. So yeah, this is our big tech. Yeah, and there's two that I was honing in on. So we just did finish a material science one. Material science bonus for us is going to be going up, up, up. We got a good bonus already. It's only going to get better. What are we at right now? 85 and climbing. I want to do molecular assemblers, which is kind of a curveball considering I've been talking up diamondoids for probably quite a while now. And it does have some good things, but I actually think that molecular assemblers is going to be more important. In particular, designer life forms, which this will unlock for us, if I'm not mistaken. Gives us this really nice atmospheric thing. Sorry to be don't want to be too specific, but look at this. Welfare removes 10% more of a whole bunch of things. Excuse me. Yeah, so I think that this is worth doing. Basically, this is a land-based game, and Diamondoids would be a space-based game. And although we should be playing in space eventually, the Academy has like an interest in space as a research area. But I don't think that I don't see the Academy and we as a research-focused, like Tortuga typical style of research playthrough, are also not that focused on building combat spacecraft. So, molecular assemblers, ho. Alright, don't be alarmed. We're just looking through the list to see how many science bonuses I have to xenology, and it looks like 1, 2. Have I only built 2 xenology labs? This is in all locations in space, so... Oh, maybe there's some I built on the ground? Yeah. That explains it. So we're up to... Thank God I did that. Oh, 20%. So we're actually already over the limit for... the 50% limit for diminishing returns for xenology. Plus we're already at 120%. Well, basically I'm trying to figure out what exactly I should put on my station in Mercury that just got there. I think it'll be a no-brainer for us to put a solar collector on. That makes a lot of sense. We'll also upgrade this. And just barely squeaking in under the cap. The new mission control stuff, the next wave of ground-based mission control has not yet has not yet been, the points haven't arrived yet. So we're still waiting on that, just to have a little buffer before we are actually at the cap, which I greatly prefer not to be at. Now it would make sense to get energy labs here. First of all, energy, that's a good thing, we'll be researching it. It's more expensive, so it makes it a little bit harder to do in around Earth. I might just put 3 energy labs here as a stopgap, just because I'm not sure what else I want to do. Also, we know that I'm not going to want to put them around Earth. I might even take some off of if they're done around Earth. Do I have any energy labs around Earth? I think I might. And in which case, we need to go back and actually swap those out. Which I can, I guess, very quickly see. So let's let these finish building before I take anything off. But that'll be done February 4th, so in 3 months. And we can easily see around Earth. Do we have any energy ones? Because I think we do. We don't. I was actually smart enough not to put any. And this is not energy. So yeah, we don't have any energy around. Okay, I'm already smart. Dang. Well, I mean, I guess don't have to replace it then. Okay, it's time to upgrade our LEO, low Earth orbit stations. We now have the orbital core. So what are we going to do? Well, we already have, we know, like 10 production from one solar collector and science that will probably be roughly 10. I mean, we can treat it as 10. In some cases, a little bit less, but that's fine. And what we're gonna do is drop on 1 solar array, build that in space, and this is gonna give us 42 science to deal with. So for that's gonna mean different amounts of modules for different things. So this information science, since it's a -6, we know, hey, we can get 7 of those. And I am going to do this one because I really want the knowledge boost. I think that is. I mean, I don't know how many information science we already have. We probably have more than 2 already, and this will only give us a knowledge boost up to a maximum of 30%, which means 10. Sorry, 10. So I think that if we have 3, then already there, then this won't matter as much. But I'm still going to get the maximum. And that is all we're going to do for this station. We'll leave 1 module slot empty. I don't know, eventually this might be a tier 3, in which case we'll change it to something else. And we know we have information science done. That's Mandela. We got next one, Donatello. Same thing here. We got the solar collector, which we will eventually upgrade to an advanced solar collector as well. But for now, it needs to maintain the power towards our science labs. So... and then eventually, oh yeah, I've actually overcooked it. Sorry, my plan was actually to have enough power from the first one to power these 2 as well without the addition of the solar collector. So I messed things up a little bit, but that's fine. We'll work on that plan. We'll start doing that from here on. So this one is 5 and 5, so we have 10. So now we want to limit ourselves to only 30 power of new science. We already did life science is actually a good one. We'll probably do that here. So we already did information science. Maybe we'll just work from top to bottom. Eventually I'll probably go to nanofactories too, although these are extremely expensive in terms of power, so it'll take a lot of solar arrays. But they do have a nice 2% boost to the economy. And if we have 15 of them somewhere in Leo, then we get our full 30% bonus to the economy, which would be great. And I don't think that there's anything I'm missing from the other ones. Space Hospital, does this do anything? Yeah, no, it doesn't. No specialty for Leo. Okay, energy, this is boost. We don't care about that one. Hydroponics, we might start doing hydroponics at some point. How much power is it? 10, yeah, okay. Information science we already covered, and life science. Okay, so life science is up to 30% as well. We don't know, I mean, we know we have at least 2 life science here. So we don't want to put 8 here, but we actually want life science only up to 30, in which case we'll do just 6. So I think this makes sense to do life science, life science, life science, and mirrored on this side. And can't I just right click? Thought there was a way to do this faster. Never tried it. Oh, is that the quick build modules thing? That's fine. Won't take that long. So that's 30 power plus these two takes us to 40, which means this one, when it's online, can power all those. Then I can upgrade this, then we can use the 2 other spots. Great. Pushkin, you are... Actually, you're one of the rare ones that already has 2 solar collectors, which means that when I upgrade anything here, the information, one of these 2 is going to go down. Between the 2... I mean, I guess I could finagle this another way. I could put a solar collector, a solar array, a third one, and then just replace one of these 2 eventually. That's not that bad of an idea. I don't think it's like can be crazy harmful to do that. So we will just do that. Now let me put it on this side. I don't know why. I have no rhyme or reason for. There's definitely no symmetry, unfortunately, and I apologize for that. It's something which will drive me nuts, probably more than anybody watching, but. If it is bothering you, then I sympathize. I'm in the same boat. Okay, so we had Information Science and Xenology Lab. Xenology Lab, I don't really care about their bonus anymore, +1 to detecting. I don't think we have that big of a problem detecting. Materials Lab, now eventually we're not going to need the military priority boost. I mean, hopefully, sooner rather than later we won't. But I guess you could say the same thing for the military science. Eventually we're going to not need this one as much, and... Yeah, I mean, you start off needing the materials, then eventually you need the military science. Let's do space science, though. Okay, social science. I don't really care about this one. We could use the social science, but I don't think we need it around orbit anymore. Space science is going to give us mission control, and this one I do think is important. So, let's just build one here. This is going to be 5 power, so this 42... We should do it the same way. So when this one comes online, it needs enough for 6 and 5. I keep looking at the science and seeing 5 and 5. Like, why are there? No, okay. But it's 6 and 5, so it's 11, which means that we have 31. So since this one takes 5 power, same situation, we can build 6 of them. Just to confirm space science. Yeah, because we could use the boost to mission control. Especially, we are going pretty heavy on that. Now that's another one that eventually it won't matter to keep doing, because at some point you're going to have 8 mission control in every town, in every area, which is the max you can get. But that looks good for now. Now the next one we can do is Augustine. This one has Materials Lab, Life Science. I'm pretty sure we're going to hit the max for like everything having done this, but this is back to the old ways. So this is 5 and 5, so we have, again, 32 available. We'll put the solar array here, and then we get 6 labs out of this. We could do Xenology. I don't know why. I don't think we're necessarily going to need 6 more of these, and they aren't really important for Leo. Like, what are the things that we need in Leo? We might just go back and start doing... Well, nanofactories we definitely can't do here. That's going to take way too much power. We could probably start doing it when we have fusion pile arrays. So this gives us 42 only. Yeah, that's not going to be worth it. Life science, which is... I mean, we could just go with material science. This is something that we're going to want anyway. It only takes 5 power, so we'll just do 6 more of these. And I'm pretty sure that that is going to satisfy the maximum boost to military. Materials. I thought I might have accidentally misclicked, but nope, we're good. Materials, and material. Whoa, see? Almost did. Materials. Okay, that's that one, and now I think this is the last one. Nope, we got 2 more. So you are information, social science. Alright, well, we can do the same thing here. 6 and 3, so this is 9. Which means we actually have 33 available. Not that it really matters. What else might we want to do? Space. I just don't think that we need social science anymore. We pretty much have everything on public opinion locked down. Yeah, I mean, military science, it's one that we eventually will want, and this takes 5 power, so I guess we'll do this one. It's going to give us a nice boost. I mean, first and foremost, it's nice to get the military science boost, right? So that's something. But to have the military advantage, I mean the tech advantage, we'll also take that. It means our armies are going to fight even better, which is great. Okay, so then we have one last one, which I really don't know what I would do with this. I probably ought to do something... So we did life science. I think we've done all the ones I wanted to cover. Energy lab. I didn't think about energy labs. These give, yeah, but that's because they're boost, and I don't really care about boost. I mean, maybe I should just do it because we want the energy research, and a boost, it's not like it's a bad thing to have a, you know, bump to boost. I really like this one though, the bump to economy. Maybe we should in fact just start cramming, needlessly cramming solar arrays onto this one. 5 and 5, so we do have 10 here. And it's basically 1 solar array to 1 nanofactory. I don't think that ratio's gonna, we can't really break that ratio, which is not great. But it would give us some nanofactories, which are gonna be great for a lot of different reasons. Well, it kind of seems insane to me, but look at it. We're kind of in this very strange, weird situation where we have like the materials to make whatever we want work for now. So we are just going to do this really preposterous, insane thing where we just make as many solar arrays as we make nanofactories and just run with it. Because we can definitely afford it. These values, we're doing well. So solar arrays along the main line. And then nanofactories at the top and bottom. That'll give us a nice boost to not only will this give us a nice boost to our economy, which I do like. I mean, it also gives us a nice 1% bonus to material science per, although that's definitely going to meet some diminishing returns. The bottom one says all tech category bonuses from HAB modules are subject to diminishing returns above 50% cumulative, and we're way above that, I'm sure. Although, you know, the majority of our material science bonus, by the way, not the majority, but a good chunk of it comes from, we have 35% from one of our counselors. So that's helpful. So what are we at? 85. So actually we're sitting right at the 50% point, because I think 35% of that comes from the counselor. Which means that all of this, and the ones we just built, which is like 6 more, right? All those will have diminishing returns, but they still will provide some benefits. It's still, you know, more is more. Anyway, but the more important thing I think is the economy bonus, and then maybe even more important than any of that, at least we're going to make some money. Right? I think these make money. I think they make a lot of money. We'll find out. It'll be super negative while it's not making money, so we'll feel it one way or the other. Network Global Defense has been unlocked now. That's one of our global techs. I don't know what we'll be doing next. I actually want to go to the tech tree just to figure out what that one was, where it was. See if it opens up anything that we might want to do next. Targeted biological warfare is the only thing next. No, that's definitely not interesting to us, so we probably need to start pushing towards phased array lasers. Not that we really need to, but I think it would be good to. And arc lasers is right on the line there, so let's just see if maybe arc lasers is the way to go. This is going to give us a lot of nice weapons. I mean, it'll give everyone, not just the Academy, some really nice weapons. I think this is the best way to do things too. Because again, we're trying to help everyone else fight the aliens too. We need to be cognizant of the fact that even though we aren't really going to war, certainly Project Exodus is bucking things. They're at like almost at 125, which is the hate limit for mission control alone. And I know that I can imagine at least Humanity First is going to be doing some things to piss off the aliens, for crying out loud. Their next thing that they're trying to do, mission-wise, is kill an alien. I don't imagine that that's going to, you know, go over well with the aliens, to say the least. They're technically already at war. You know what would be interesting is to see what the alien standing with me is. The only thing we know is this, but we're not at war. Maybe that means that we aren't the worst target. And again, we have these people at 70 out of 77. They're at 124 out of 100. I still wish I would know if there's a combat going on. Like, are they fighting the alien ships out there? Would I know about it? I would assume that they would give me one of those things where the first time a space fleet fights that isn't mine, I get a notification about it, and then it'll say in the future it'll just appear on the side. It's the kind of thing that I'd actually like control over, whether it pops up every time or not. Because that would actually probably be pretty interesting to make sure that you're tracking all the different combats in space. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know how it works, so we'll just wait and see. Well, this community policing one is really nice against the aliens. -2 to enthrall. -3 to terrorize. -3 to abductions. So that's probably going to be what we'll do exactly after strategic deception. Well, pretty big moment. We just got a huge jump in our control point management. 25. So, I mean, this is insane. We're almost up to 600. Which I love. I love. It's great. Okay, so what is next? Space science, information science, and life science are all open. I would like to knock out these tier 2 science research centers. These are useful to have. I mean, it's 10% instead of 2.5. You gotta. It's a huge increase in the bonus, and also the double the Leo bonus, which for space science in particular wouldn't matter, but it's also true for the life science one. Now we get 6% to welfare. We're probably already maxing that out, so I think it'll come down to the 10%, getting that higher and higher. You know, it's still useful. Maybe we don't even need to build that many because, you know, at some point we're going to need farms. And speaking of, what we could do instead is just get farms. That's not a bad thing. Although our life science bonus is about to get a big boost. So maybe while, oh man, everything is about to get a boost in just about a week. Farm is 1,000, information research 1,000. I don't think, no, we got one of these too. Everything's going to get a boost, so there's no one thing that we need to prefer or not. We'll just do the life science first because I think the farms are the most important. We might even consider placing some farms, although I haven't really needed to yet just because we have ridiculous income. This is daily, by the way. This is not per month, so it's pretty good. Well, our other station in Mercury has finished, so I mean, it got the tier 2 upgrade now. So I'm just going to drop a solar array. It's going to give us pretty much all the power we could ever need. I think I'm going to go with 3 nanofactories here. That's going to use up 120 power, which, by the way, is still like 200. No, 100 and yeah, has still 160 power left. We just won't even be able to use that all. And I think I'm just going to use this for Skunk Works, actually. I might just do 3 for now, to see what that does. That might be where I stop. I can always put this other Skunk Works on later. 5th of May, so it's going to take 3 months for these to go down, which is one disadvantage for not doing it right away. I think I might only want 3, and this is probably, you know, along with the other one, probably both of these will be candidates for upgrade from 3 to 5. Mission control, I mean, going to tier 3. And if that's the case, this might end up being the solar array, or, yeah, well, I mean, it'll be useful. Right now it's kind of, we could always fill this in with, yeah, 1 more nanofactory, 1 more Skunk Works, even like a research campus. I've been considering doing those, although I don't think that they're super efficient. Probably better same with mission control, it's probably better to get your research from home, from Earth. But that is another thing to consider. We don't have the operations center. I guess we have never even unlocked that, but that's another thing I could consider putting here just to give us a little bit more mission control cap. At least it'd be nice, I guess, to have a spot open so that I have that ability. I can do that in a pinch, even though, you know, it takes a while to build. Now, whereas the farm's predecessor, I already forgot what it is not really worth it, the farm itself is pretty worth it. So this is something we'll consider adding. Bit power hungry, but note that's not a problem for Mercury. Anyway, what are we going to add there next? I mean, we already mentioned it, so we can do... Life science might be better to get that going first. I guess the one I would want is actually, is this knowledge? This is knowledge. So let's do the information science research one. Oh, but this is... Actually, we don't have that. Perfect. Thought I'd show this real fast. Canada has actually gotten mission control up and running. We don't want the boost, so forget that, but yeah, mission control is, just feel free to run buck wild with it. The reason why I did this is because in the, as I like to call it, the revolving door of owners for Canada, they focused mission control, well, space flight, whatever, you know, the one that gets you there. They focused that one very heavily, and it got me to like 42 out of 50, so I figured, you know what, it actually probably is worth just investing the remaining 8 points, which I did. So now our mission will be to create some mission control out of Canada. In fact, it's got a huge funding. I mean, it's 166. It actually has more funding than the U.S. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. only has one single PIP going into funding, but it's probably the most well-funded. It might be the most well-funded place in the world. Definitely, it's the most well-funded place, like per capita or per control point. I mean, it's the most efficient as far as money per control point. Anyway, I think we're gonna switch this over to something like just keep the funding barely there, and otherwise go full on into mission control now. Alright, and what will probably be my last action of this episode, we finished Information Science Research Center. Nothing really interesting about this. I guess we're just going to pick up the next one. Life Science Research Center it is. And that's going to do it for this episode, really, yeah, because I think we're pretty close to out of time. What is going on in this, by the way? My usual, like, what is the world doing in this game? Where am I going? Why am I only progressing 9 months at a time? I wish I knew. At this point, I'm just trying to be very efficient about controlling what I control, and then I'm hoping that we just eventually see some action. There's definitely a lot of alien fleets orbiting, and they're out there. But I suppose that a quiet game is a good game, at least until like probably later in the 2030s. Since we are going to continuously hamstring the servants, they're not really going to be able to progress things, and the aliens eventually are going to take matters into their own hands. And I think that might not even happen until 20 years or 15 years after the game starts, so maybe 2037 is when I should start fearing for things, which still gives us 5 years to prepare. And I mean, I feel like we're doing okay. I mean, I really guess this is what happens when you are super min-max about your game, and I didn't even know what I was doing half the time, so if I ended up being even close to optimal, it was with a fair dosage of luck. But yeah, I mean, we're up to 5.1 for military, which is pretty good, I think, for 2032. I don't think we're behind. I think we're sitting at a reasonable amount. We have only the starting 6 armies, so somebody could probably claim that I should expand my army pool. All 6 of these have navies though, so it's a fully mobile 6 armies. I don't know if we need any more than that. I mean, a lot of other places have been picking up armies, like Mexico, the EU, and I just plan not to use these. If anything, I would use some of those armies to help defend the United States, while the United States armies are going to be very alien focused. But yeah, I think with all the stats across the board, we're doing well. Money maybe being like, one place where I would like to improve a little bit. The spoils we are getting right now, I think, are just barely compensating for the money we're losing. I mean, we're not bleeding too much, but we're also not gaining a great amount. I don't know. That's my summary so far. I guess that next episode, maybe we should try to at least put one spaceship into orbit, because I am starting to feel like with the mission control that's going to start blossoming with the dual. First of all, because of our new, very strong focus on getting mission control from a lot of different places, including now the EU, and Germany's already had that focus for a while. That, coupled with the fact that we're also going to get our space science laboratories in low Earth orbit, giving us a big boost to mission control. So I think that we're going to see some big capacity increase. Well, relatively, much larger increase in capacity over a shorter period of time in the upcoming episode or so. So that would mean we can actually start getting things like a spaceship out there. And why not, right? Anyways, until the next one, thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.